Is health anxiety up to its old tricks again? My friend, are you getting caught up in bodily sensations, intrusive ideas, brain fog, depersonalization, yada, yada, yada? If so, today is the day where I'm going to create a tremendous amount of mental clarity within you in regards to your health anxiety. Welcome to another important video on my channel, my friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do that now. And if you want to learn more about the #1 health anxiety recovery program online, head over here. Now today is about health anxiety experiences. I want to have a conversation between me and you today. And I know what you're going through. I want to present some relatable information and some practical information to get you moving forward and feeling like you're making progress over health anxiety today, my friends. So I want you to begin your health anxiety healing from where you are right now. Meaning, don't go into more complex approaches and techniques if what you really need right now is simply rest and acceptance. Too many of us are diving deep into manifestation work, deeply into spiritual work, deeply into meditation work, and trust me, all of these things are so important to bringing out our true self. However, you, at this stage in your health anxiety healing, may just need to work on acceptance over what it is you're feeling, building a new relationship with the intrusive ideas and the fears coming from body and mind. You may just need to rest. You may be so overly fatigued and chronically fatigued because of all the fighting and the tension that has built up physiologically that you may just need to work on acceptance and rest. So let's keep it simple and let's really get real with where you are right now in your overall healing journey, my friends, okay? Understand this, that exaggerated emotions, therefore perceptions overly colored by fear, is what you're experiencing right now. So you may be going about the day perceiving danger in social gatherings. You may be going about your day perceiving danger, intrusive ideas and symptoms that you experience. So what you need to understand is all of these perceptions, these initial reactions to things, are coming forward because your whole world is colored by what has become habitual and patternized within you. These are patterns. These are not truths. So when you go about a symptom and start to overthink the symptom or start to move towards catastrophic perceptions over a symptom, you need to understand that that's not really coming from the real you. That's not coming from the part of you that is emotionally and mentally balanced. That's coming from a part of you that I like to refer to as being your lower self or your little me. Now, when you think about this part of you that is perceiving everything in a catastrophic manner, especially your symptoms and things related to bodily health, mental health, all that sort of thing, when you see it from the perspective of your little me, now you have the opportunity to go beyond the initial reactions. So you have to start realizing that you have a choice in terms of how you see what it is you're feeling, how you see what it is you're initially thinking. It's not a monster, right? It's just little me doing what it has been programmed to do, okay? Now, with health anxiety, there's a number of different kinds of fatigues that show up, and I want to see if you can relate to these. We're talking about mental fatigue, which feels like you are consciously trying to place one foot in front of another, one thought in front of another. Now, if you're experiencing this amount of mental fatigue that's going hand in hand with health anxiety, you have to be gentle on yourself. If you're trying to create a conversation with somebody and that person is speaking quickly and they don't suffer from anxiety the same way you do, then it's important that you be gentle on yourself, because you may look to keep up with that person in that conversation. You may look to go through your to-do list throughout the day in a speedy manner, the way everybody else is doing so. But in truth, you're experiencing mental fatigue. If you think about someone who's trying to walk and consciously trying to walk, where they're trying to put one foot in front of the other, if they do this all day long, that becomes very, very exhausting and tiring, because walking is an unconscious act. We don't have to think about it. But with health anxiety, we feel the need to think about what thought goes after what thought. What thought goes after the last thought. And this is incredibly draining. So if you're experiencing this mental fatigue that's going hand in hand with health anxiety, be gentle on yourself. Do not rush, and understand that you're going through something that not many people can relate to. The next one is emotional fatigue that goes with health anxiety. And this is the fight to overturn fear-centered emotions with positive ones. And that comes with more fatigue and tension. Frustration builds as a result of this. So if you're experiencing emotional fatigue, you may be at a place in your life where you're really afraid of experiencing feelings and emotions, because it's possible that even the positive feelings and emotions could drag you back into a panicky state, a state of deep health anxiety. So many sufferers have a difficulty allowing themselves to feel what it is they're feeling. And the truth is, your true health anxiety healing will come when you give yourself permission to feel what it is you're feeling, moving towards the burning building that you've been looking to run away from all this time. So now you've got emotional numbness, you've got this feeling of fear coming from your feelings and emotions, you've got fear coming up, you've got anger coming up, you've got sadness and victimhood. Instead of moving towards a place where you're building on those initial ideas, it's important for you to feel those things, because so much of health anxiety healing comes from allowing, keyword, allowing yourself to feel rather than run away from negative feelings and emotions. So this is very, very key in eliminating the emotional fatigue aspect of things. Now we're talking about physical fatigue that comes with health anxiety. Can you relate? If so, comment below. Sleeps, naps, laying down brings with it more fatigue than prior experiences. So when you lay down, you may get this rush of symptom flare-ups where you're going, oh my God, now when I'm laying down or meditating or walking and I don't really have too much to focus on, my attention goes on the inside, and that's an opportunity for you. Rather than feel like, oh, now I'm focused entirely on my symptoms and the ideas that are crossing my mind, you have to see sleeping, napping, laying down as opportunities, because when the symptoms show up, it's important for you to go, okay, this is the ideal time for me to practice. You know, there's a lot of health anxiety sufferers out there that continue to stay in a victim-like state, and I used to be in this place. And it's important for you, if you're in this state, to understand that all you're dealing with is an experience where you're unpracticed. You're just unpracticed in terms of building a new foundation around what it is your body is experiencing, right? And this is so, so key. So when you're laying down, you have the opportunity to go ahead and see those symptoms from a completely different perspective. You have an opportunity to no longer add any kind of add-ons or more catastrophic thinking on top of the original intrusive ideas that you experience. So this is when you start to go, okay, For so long, I've been trying to eliminate these symptoms, eliminate these ideas, eliminate anything, any element of health anxiety. But now, what I'm doing is I am welcoming these things in because they give me the opportunity to change how I perceive them, right? And the way you perceive them is go, well, I know that you're bringing these symptoms up because I've created so much tension in my body, so much tension in my mind for so many years, and I understand this nervous energy that's showing up through my symptoms, my sensations, and these ideas. However, I want to slowly start guiding you in a new direction. That's the truth. It's like building a relationship with your own child. You love that child unconditionally. And when you can start to love these symptoms and ideas unconditionally, now you're getting to a place of true healing. Because when the symptoms and ideas show up in the future, you're no longer going to be bothered by them. And if you're not bothered by them, your body can relax, you can start to let go of the tension, and you can naturally bring in neutral perspectives towards things. You may be experiencing spiritual fatigue with health anxiety, which is a fight to connect with Source. And this brings with it more victimhood, which feeds into tension and hopelessness, helplessness. You may be going, oh God, why? Why me? Why am I experiencing this for so many years? And let me tell you something, that sort of response isn't helping you. So if something isn't helping you, you need to write down those very habits and patterns, mental, emotional, behavioral, imaginative habits and patterns that are not feeding into your health anxiety healing. Instead of begging for change from Source or God, you need to ask, and you're planting a seed in your subconscious mind and body here, to ask yourself to release yourself of the fear and the tension that's been built up within you over all these years, to put you on the path, to put you in line with information that will feed in to your health anxiety healing. You can't overcome an anxious mind and body from the perspective of an anxious mind and body. This is something very important to understand. So reflect on what's not working for you, and you're going to find that if you start to do the opposite of these things, it feels kind of weird. You feel kind of vulnerable in the beginning, but over time you start to go, oh my God, it always existed there. I never knew how simple health anxiety healing could be. Simple, but not easy, right? Now, with health anxiety, your job is to understand that it's memory that is up to its old tricks again, right? It's memory up to its old tricks again. So when symptoms arise, and they will arise when you're in the shower, when you lay down, when you go for a walk, when you converse with other people, your body is now acting on how you've reacted mentally for so many months or years, right? And now the body is starting to become the unconscious mind in itself. So our job is to get the mind out of the body, the unconscious mind out of the body. But to do that, we have to have the right attitude and approach. So when symptoms and fear and adrenaline and flare-ups and all this sort of thing shows up, you go, it's memory up to its old tricks again. And when you start to go, oh, this is just memory up to its old tricks again, all of a sudden you get this feeling of, I can diffuse the fear without trying to force it, right? So much of health anxiety comes from fighting and forcing ourselves to heal, forcing our subconscious minds and bodies to heal. So it's memory up to its old tricks again. There it is, right? And now what was once a monster turns into a fly. And as long as it turns into a fly, it's not bothersome anymore. Remember, when you take your intrusive ideas and the elements of anxiety or health anxiety, when you take these with you throughout the day in the background, rather than at the forefront of your day, now that's called healing, right? That's called healing because you're not feeding it with your attention, your focus, and your energy. Now, here's a couple experiences that I want to share with you, because this is a very much a masterclass in health anxiety, and I want to get to some experiences that you may have experienced in relation to health anxiety. So, disappointment over good blood tests. Now, this is interesting, right? So many years when I would go to the doctor and I would experience a blood test, and I had a negative, like everything was fine and everything was normal and everything was balanced, I started to become disappointed. Comment below if you can do this. And it's not in an exaggerated way, but there's a feeling where your stomach starts to drop and go, oh my God, why? And you're almost looking for something wrong so that you can take care of it. And this is health anxiety. This is what feeds into health anxiety, because we're always looking for something that is wrong. And in truth, what's wrong is that we are mentally, emotionally unbalanced, and therefore physically we feel unbalanced. There's a nervous system here that's dysregulated. So if this is going on with you right now, you need to understand that this is a reflection coming from your lower self, or your little me. Disappointment, right? Oh, I wish they would have found something so I can heal this. Well, you already know what needs to be healed, but you're not admitting it to yourself each and every day and taking those practical, simple steps moving forward to heal this. And it comes from acceptance, and it comes from surrender sessions, right? And these are all things that create deeper intuitiveness within a person, because health anxiety is fed by being too much in our heads. And if you're too much in your head, in the Western world, that's called intelligence. Oh, it's a very intelligent person because he's thinking so much about things. Not necessarily. When you go to the Eastern world, it's more about intuition. You don't see anxiety as prevalent as you do in the Western world. So we have to get back into our intuition, our playfulness, our childlikeness, and that also involves allowing yourself to relax in body, and allowing yourself to think when it's time to think throughout the day, but not overthink, right? ECG abnormalities, right? So you get an ECG and all of a sudden it's abnormal and you're starting to freak out, right? So 3/4 of ECG tests are inaccurate, and this is something that you need to understand right away, okay? So you don't have to go down that rabbit hole instantly. Being overly sensitive around a certain body part when the doctor targets it on a possible issue. So let's go in relation to ECGs. All of a sudden something abnormal comes up, and you're taking a shower and you're being so careful, and you're trying to sleep and you're trying not to sleep on that part of your body, yada yada yada. And this is all coming from that highly sensitive part of you. So again, it's very important for you to reflect on this and go, you know, until there's something absolutely conclusive, I'm not going to allow myself to go down that rabbit hole again. Fighting with the perceptions you have due to being in a state of tension and fight or flight. So you perceive something and you're kind of in this limbo. Like, is it this way or is it that way? Is it this way? Am I healthy? Am I not healthy? That sort of thing, right? And this is a very interesting trick that the lower self, or little me, plays in order to keep you in an anxious state, right? It wants to keep you in this limbo. And instead of being in that limbo, it's up to you to understand that the only person that can make a decision on your overall health is you, right? In today's world, we really have to be our very own physicians to some extent, right? Holistically. And this is very, very important, to take back power and not place power on everything and everyone externally, because if that's the case, you know, you're at the mercy of what other people say, and you don't want to live that way. When you live out a new day paralyzed by fear, like you got a new day and all of a sudden you're going, oh, health anxiety, it's going to be a difficult day, how is it going to unfold? And all of this catastrophicness and uncertainty is playing out in your mind and body. It's important for you to say, I bring you with me. I bring the symptoms with me. I bring the intrusive ideas with me. I bring all the elements of health anxiety with me. And when you bring it with you, you're no longer surprised when the symptom flare-up shows up or whatever element of health anxiety shows up, because it's the surprise that keeps us in a state of victimhood. Oh, why me? Why does this keep going on? Why? And this only feeds into the fear and the tension. So I bring you with me. I bring you with me. This is a more relaxed way of going about your health anxiety healing, okay? The key takeaway from this very important health anxiety video, and if any part of it spoke to you, my friends, comment below because I'd love to connect. I want to remind you that health anxiety healing comes from a shift in how you feel towards your old ways, not from the over-analytical mind that looks to figure out the best way out. If you're trying to figure out the best way out of health anxiety, you're going to stay in a state of sensitization, fear, and bewilderment. But instead, if you can create a shift and say, here's how I feel towards my old patterns, towards my old reactions to my symptoms, I can see now how exaggerated those things are, because it's very, very possible that my mind is playing tricks on me in order for me to stay in the familiar state of anxiousness, to continue to release these stress hormones, and to keep me in a state of fight or flight. You no longer have to fight to heal your health anxiety. You have permission to let go in mind and body in those very instances when the body starts to scream out symptoms, when the ideas start to arise. So take a moment and reflect. Reflect on how you got here and what continues to perpetuate your health anxiety. And my friends, I promise you, together, we're going to move towards better days as we are. And comment below on the progress that you've been making. Maybe it's mentally, maybe it's emotionally, maybe it's behaviorally, maybe you're imagining things differently, maybe you have a deeper connection with Source and you're giving all these challenges to God, which is again a fantastic way of going about your healing. Comment below. And my friends, remember that you are more than anxiety. I'll see you in the next video. Love you so very much. Keep going. Bye-bye.